everybody. It's Mark Gilliard again for AIM Country Music Television. I'm thrilled to have a dynamic country artist from Ohio County, Kentucky joining me, known for soulful vocals and the ability to just instantly connect with most any audience. My guest is Jeremy Calloway. He has a background in gospel music. He's shared the stage with legends, Reba McEntire, Martina McBride, and the Judds. Jeremy's destined to make waves as an independent artist with the release of his album just last year, Feeling Good, and with lots of new music coming down the pipeline. Jeremy's here today to talk about his new release, She Ain't Crazy. So let's get him in here right now to talk about what might just be your new favorite song. Jeremy Calloway, welcome to the program.
Hey man, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Well, you're welcome. It's really nice to meet you. I guess probably we should just open up. Just take a few minutes and just tell us your story, your history and your current events and, where you're trying to get in 2025.
Sure, I would love to. My history started like a lot of musicians. I started out singing in church. A lot of singers. I started out singing in church. My dad was a Baptist minister. He unfortunately left us this past March, but we've spent, and he was a lover of music. And so I grew up listening to true Southern gospel music. The Singing Rambo. Some of these you may have heard. Dottie Rambo, an amazing songwriter. Of course, the Happy Goodman Family. The Oak Ridge Boys. Of course, they've been around a long time, but their roots started in gospel music. So my start was singing gospel music in a quartet. Me, a couple of my cousins, and my best friend to this day, Mason Westerfield, we put together a little quartet when we were about 11, 12 years old. And our principal at school was working with us on harmony parts and helping us learn everything. And we ended up going and doing a little recording. And I think in 1988, we did our first recording at Audio Creations in Paducah, Kentucky with Mr. George Cummey. We went in. So we thought, man, we have arrived, we're in a recording studio. But the bug bit at that time and it never let go. And from that, we ended up singing and traveling and singing a lot of national conferences, various things of that nature. And from there, I think it was in 1995, if I'm not mistaken, I got hired to sing in my first professional group, as a gospel singer. Went on the road, moved to Columbia, South Carolina. And from there, not to ramp through it too fast, but I enjoyed that. I got to see a lot of the country. Didn't make a dime, really. You could afford to get you a Wendy's at the time would have a little taco salad for 99 cents. You could get you a little sandwich, pull you through the day, and a bowl of Frosted Flakes. That's what that was it. We weren't getting rich, but I was getting rich in lessons and learning about music and learning how to carry myself on a stage in front of a lot of people, and got to see the United States, through the window of an old 1978 Silver Eagle bus, if you can imagine. So that's where we were. That's where it started. And then from there, I had a gentleman that I had known for some time call me. I had come off the road, and a gentleman called me and he said, would you be interested? He said, we're needing a front guy to play in front of the band at the Timeout Lounge at the Executive Inn. And I don't know if you remember the Executive Inns. There was one in Owensboro, Kentucky, one in Paducah, Kentucky. I think there was one in Evansville or Henderson. But man, that was quite the learning experience. Because I grew up in church. Even though I was a lover of country music and a lot of popular music, I had never had that experience. But the gentlemen were older. David Vanover was the drummer. He's the one that had called me and was just a phenomenal drummer. He had been a drum tester for Ludwig Drums when he was in Chicago, and had a lot of pictures. So there was a lot of history there. It was really cool to learn from him. And Jewel Dukes was a piano player, and he also played bass with old organ pedals. And he would put the bass line in, play piano. And he had played for Jim Reeves. So these were older guys. I was a kid. I was 21, 22 years old, but they were great guys to have around me. There was no nonsense. Even though we were playing in a club, there was no nonsense, and they taught me so much. And I would play 4 hours a night, Tuesday through Saturday. and it was, head first into it. And so that's where I started, and that's where I really learned a lot about how to communicate with a crowd in a secular environment, and plus the catalog of songs. I mean, when you're singing 4 hours a night, there was not a relief singer; it was me. So 45 minutes, 15-minute break, 45 minutes, and you do that 4 times, man. At first you're repeating some of the songs from the first set, but then as the repertoire grew, I learned, it's really broadened my uh, love of music, because you have a crowd that's wanting to hear, somebody's wanting to hear a Tony Bennett song, somebody's wanting to hear a Frank Sinatra song, somebody's wanting to hear Hank Sr., and so you learn how to just do all that, that club singing, that club thing, and so from there, I ended up stopping for a little while, and I had a gentleman call me. I had sung tenor um, when I was younger, and I think when I started doing the club work, I learned a lot about tone placement because I was singing so much different music, and I learned that, man, I can sing a lot higher than I thought I could. Well, there was a group out of Nashville called Southern Sound being produced, and the lead singer was Ben Harris. He had worked with Ronnie Millsap for many years. And he called and he said, "Man, we're looking for a guy to sing the top part. Is it something you think you'd want to do?" And I hadn't done quartet singing for a while, but went back to it. And we were doing a lot of 50s style music. It was a lot of throwback, a lot of modern harmony. And it was just another bridge, of learning something that I hadn't been able to do. And from there, I had the opportunity to sing. I had come out of that group, but had worked closely with a guy that was a gospel music hero, a guy named Woody Beatty, had been around for many years. Had worked with Jake Hess. I don't know if you know Jake Hess, but I mean he was a staple. He was a huge influence on Elvis Presley. Back in the 50s, from because Elvis loved the Statesman Quartet, and Jake was with the Statesman, so there was a lot of history there. And Woody Beatty was a great arranger, a great pianist, and he knew that I was no longer singing at that time, or I had met him when I was with Southern Sound, but he called and wanted to know if I'd be interested in coming and working with Larry Strickland. And Larry Strickland was the husband of Naomi Judd. And Larry had worked with J.D. Sumner and the Stamps backing up Elvis Presley in the 70s up till Elvis's death. So that's how it works. It was just one thing led to the other. And then, of course, getting to sing with Larry and forming a great friendship that lasts to this day. I just talked to him last weekend. I was at a show with Winona last Saturday night and called him up, where you at, So that's how it has worked, So that's a short rundown of my history, but that is, I hope it was short enough for you. I don't hope you don't have to edit too much out. I could write a book, though. There's a lot of stories that go in the middle of this, but that provided it, and it opened up a whole new world to me, getting to work with Larry, and then of course his very famous wife, and Winona and the Judds, and it was a great experience. And I'm still getting to, I guess, reap the benefits of to this day, because of that connection. And not that you ever use connections, but it provided and opened up, so many opportunities and getting to know so many people.
Oh,
So
exactly,
I'm
exactly.
grateful
Yeah,
for it.
yeah. Like listening to it. You're a young guy. It makes you sound like you're 60-year old. As much territory as you've covered.
I know it. Say that again. I'm a young guy. I like to hear that.
There you go. Exactly,
There's been a
exactly.
lot of history, and this
Yeah.
is the way it works. I mean, even with yourself, where you've been, I'm sure that there's quite a story that's allowed you to get to where you are right now and doing what you're doing. And I wouldn't take, there was an old gospel song called "I'll Never Take Any," I wouldn't take nothing for my journey. I wouldn't change a thing. I have gotten to meet so many people. I was having a conversation last week with someone about the first time I got to sing at the Ryman Auditorium, and it was with Larry, and we were backing up Winona. Of course, Larry had worked for Elvis, and Winona was doing it was Belmont's tribute to Elvis Presley. I'll never forget this. Of course, going in there, just being in the room, and knowing that I'm getting ready to perform on this stage was chills. You know, I had chills all up. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm getting to do this. And I'll never forget going to our dressing room and walking in, and Ashley was in there, you know, Wyatt's sister, Ashley Judd. And I saw her, you know, and I'm like, well, she's here. I wonder who else is here. And I'd done some stuff. I came out and got on the elevator, and I heard a voice say, hold up. And it was Vince Gill hopping on the elevator, you know, and we ride down. And I ended up in a huddle between BJ Thomas, Pat Boone, Amy Grant, and Vince Gill. And I'm standing here talking, and I'm going, man, this is a long way from McGann Station, Kentucky. But you know, I was conscious not to be the fan. I didn't get my phone out and start taking the pictures, but I've wished a lot of times that someone had been there taking pictures just because it was such a memorable moment. But with BJ Thomas is gone now, and of course Pat Boone is still with us, and the wealth of history and knowledge that's there. So I've been a lucky guy, I must
You
say.
really have. It's funny to me that that it seems like the gospel stuff that you started with is kind of what put the tentacles out and got you in all these places. Like
It
the
really did.
yeah,
It really did.
it's kind of an amazing part of a story to me.
Well, the bedrock of most music is traced back to gospel music. You know, whether it's the blues. I'm actually in Memphis, Tennessee right now, you know, and I'm right down here on South Main Street, and across the street from me is the Blues Museum. And of course, everybody knows the rich history here. I can go just a little ways up the other way, and I'm on BB King, you know, and it's the history of everybody that Carl Perkins, anybody that's in this area. If you go back to their roots, it goes back to gospel music, and even rhythm and blues. A lot of country music, you know, was a lot of that was born out of country music. So I love the history of music. I don't call much of any music what I would refer to as music. You know, there's a lot of modern music now that I go, yeah, but you know, it's got there's something for everybody. But I love the roots of our music and where we come from. So yeah, the tentacles run deep, and gospel music has led me on some onto some beautiful stages.
Are there recordings floating around of that that first quartet you were in when you were a kid?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, my mom was cleaning out some of her things, and she said, I have a box here. And it was a box, and I've got about 60 unopened cassette tapes of that very first recording. And it's got, you know, us guys on the cover of it, all lined up in our double-breasted suits. But and I think on that, now the very first recording, you said the very first one. I don't know. I'm sure it could be found because it was actually a compilation recording that I was on. We did maybe two songs on it, and there were other people that did a couple of songs. The first recording that our quartet did, that was just the quartet. I think I was 16, and yes, I do have several of those cassettes. They're on sale. They happen to be on sale today. If you'd like to
Yeah,
buy,
I want to buy one of those cassettes. So.
I don't know if you have anything to play it on, but I do have the cassettes. Yeah,
Yeah, I actually kept a player for that kind of stuff, just for when
yeah,
I get find an old one or somebody send me something. I have one that's a dubbing deck, so I
yeah.
can make it into digital.
I love it. I mean, I'm proud of where I've come from, and I'm even happier about where I'm going. You know, the every day you wake up, there's something new to do. There's another song to write. There's a another tune to find. And you know, I was just in the studio a couple of weeks ago with Mark Fain, Grammy-winning musician and producer, and um, the guys that I was in there with. It just so happened the drummer that was there, we got to talking like, man, you look so familiar. And we were actually together on a bus in 2008 going to Lancaster, Pennsylvania to play a New Year's Eve show when I was still working with Larry, and we hadn't seen each other. And he had just came on for that couple of weeks, and he's been producing Joe Nichols, the country singer Joe Nichols, and working with him. So, you know, it's been a beautiful ride, and I'm so excited for what tomorrow brings every day.
Yeah, I believe you should be. It sounds like a pretty exciting life.
It is. It is. I've been very blessed.
Yeah, you have. Well, we're here today to talk about your song, She Ain't Crazy. Um,
Yeah.
could you take a minute and tell us a little bit about the song, the inspiration? You know, what should we be expecting from the video? Because I don't think the title tells it all.
No, the She Ain't Crazy is it's a beautiful love song. And it's honestly to teach people. that it's okay to love yourself, really. I don't know your story. You don't know my story, but as bright as it may seem on paper, there's been moments of riddled sadness as well. You've got that in there, the breakups, um, the divorce, there's so many things. And where this idea came from was actually a friend that was just going through a horrible situation. And my wife had said something to me about it. And we were talking, we had actually come in from church on a Sunday morning. It was January the 8th, 2022. And I remember it was Elvis's birthday because she had wrote the note on the paper. And she said something about somebody, talking about, helping them go through a deal. And I said, well, she ain't crazy because she loves him. She's crazy because she's crying. And I was standing at the stove warming up leftovers for our lunch after church on Sunday. And then when that hit, I was like, ooh, she ain't crazy because she loves him. She's crazy because she's crying. It just hit, and which is how these things work. And immediately I had a little tune just come into my head for that little hook line. And my wife, being the brilliant, gifted person she is, and she's a gifted writer. Um, we've been able to collaborate on it. We've got about 22 things we've collaborated on, and this is the first of the bunch that we're putting out. So getting to do it as a husband and wife duo was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Um, but she sat down and I sat there with an acoustic guitar and just started working through the melody, and she started writing. And 45 minutes later ish, obviously we had the first take down on a piece of paper, and then we spent, a little bit of time coming back and revisiting and walking away and coming back and revisiting. But this is the first thing that I've ever put out that's original to us, and to me, and the first thing that I've been able to partner with my wife on and do, and we're enjoying it. It's a beautiful breakup song for
I
sure.
love immortalizing stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the way it works, I mean, he, everything is what you make out of it, and there's room to grow, and there's lessons to be learned in anything. It's all about your approach and how you want to approach it. But she ain't crazy because she loves him. She's crazy because she's crying.
Well, on that note, I think we should play it now. Is that good with you?
I'd love it. Yeah.
Great. You're watching Jeremy Calloway's video for She Ain't Crazy here on AIM Country Music Television.
She ain't crazy 'cause she loves him. She's crazy 'cause she's crying. So many chances have been given. She's out of reasons to keep trying. All she wanted was forever. His reckless life has left him blind. Her unwanted freedom taught her lessons. Now she's leaving him behind. And she ain't crazy 'cause she loves him. She's crazy 'cause she's crying. Her heart had her believing she could change him one last time. And now she knows what keeps her broken. She can't waste no more time. And all the memories she was holding have all faded this time. crazy about her leaving, but there's no change in her mind. And all the promises are broken, forgiveness left far behind. And they can't think of one good reason to give this love one more try. Both needing something from each other, neither one can seem to find. And she ain't crazy 'cause she loves him, she's crazy 'cause she's crying. Her heart had her believing she could change him one last time. And now she knows what keeps her broken. She can't waste no more time. And all the memories she was holding have all faded this time. And she ain't crazy 'cause she loves him, she's crazy 'cause she's crying.
Very nice, very nice. I love the opening with the tear on the guitar. Just really
Yeah.
nice work.
Yeah, it's really acoustically driven and driven with a lot of piano, which I know country music is it's kind of a throwback. It'll throw you back to it has a nice modern appeal, but it has a little bit of a throwback vibe to it as well. With great piano, great
When is
piano
this
work.
thing going to be part of your live shows?
Oh man, actually, I'm working on doing a dear friend of mine. How things happen. It's very interesting. Casey Martin works with us, has worked with me on a Christmas project, a hymns project, and he actually had come to work with Larry when I was there. Casey was hired to come in as a pianist when I was there. Casey, to this day, is still the pianist and does the sax work on Winona's live shows. But he plays at the Nashville Palace. I don't know if you know the Nashville Palace is downtown, but or out by Opry. And Pam Miller, he plays there in Pam Miller's band. And Pam loves the song. I love the song. We last weekend thought, man, I wonder what it sound like if we were kind of working off this thing together, and we did it. So we're going to do a live version of this as a duet soon. We're going to do it down at the Nashville Palace in the next month. But I know the video is released. It just released on August 11th of this year is when it released, and the single dropped July the 25th. So I think the people have had time to listen to it at this point and kind of know what's going on. So we're going to just do this and do it live down at the Nashville Palace, but it's getting worked into the shows. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
I love it. Can you tell me what are some of the challenges and maybe rewards of being an independent artist in today's environment? You've seen things change and go to digital to go to Spotify. What kind of challenges and what kind of rewards does that bring to you?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you referring to me as a young guy earlier. I've been around a little while. But I think probably one of the biggest challenges and also one of the greatest blessings is the way that social media is such an influence on what we do. It's in the old days. I'm going to call it the old days when it's really not been that long ago. It was really more about the quality of the song, the quality of the singer, and that has changed, somewhat. And now it's how many clicks, how many views. So you got to really find something that'll resonate with a crowd from a social media standpoint, because everything is so driven by social media. With that being said, I think that's one of the greatest challenges as well. It's one of the greatest blessings, but it's a great challenge. It's to find that niche, because I'm a crooner, really. I'm more of a crooner, and which I guess tends to throw me back into a uh and there's not a lot of crooners around, but I love singing that, where it's about the melody and it's still very much about the lyric. I really fall into that category. And it's not so much doing somersaults and jumping around that tends to get a lot of clicks on TikTok, but what I know is there is a large community of people out there that still love the kind of music that I'm doing. And so being able to discover that crowd and that community, and build relationships in a different way. It used to be, from a label standpoint, as an independent artist, I mean, the labels, it's not like it used to be. You go in, you sign a deal, they're going to pump money in it, we're going to do all this stuff. And there was a lot of focus on the song and the singer and his ability to deliver it. That's changed so much because all of that's so bounced off of what social media does.
Oh yeah,
And
they basically expect you to have already established that before they really want to talk to you now, I think.
Exactly, exactly. And it's like you and I had a discussion before. If you look at the resume, you're thinking, my gosh, it's an amazing resume, but I haven't been able to bridge that gap, in the social media world. But you know, God opens doors. He doesn't give you songs by accident. He doesn't give you tunes, and he doesn't give you a gift by accident. So I'm a believer, and I believe that he will put it where it needs to be. And I think a lot of people are going to really connect with this song. The Yeah, there's so many ladies. As a guy, I told my wife, I said, I almost feel bad singing this song. And as the listeners just heard, you get it, like, man, the guy, what the heck? So it's propping up the lady. But the reality is it goes both ways. There have been guys in horrible relationships that one day, I love you to death. I would die for you. But to save myself at this point, I've got to walk away. And the same thing for the ladies. And so I believe the song has got a message that's going to connect on a completely different level with so many people and provide hope. It is a song of hope,
It is.
even
I'm
though,
anxious to see how people react to it.
yeah, I am too. It's just like a baby, we're bringing it out and saying, here it is, we're introducing it to the world. And, I'm excited to see how it's going to resonate for sure.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to visit with us today. So before I let you sneak away from here, I'd love it if you tell us where to find you online, on stage, and where we can buy or listen to all of your music.
I would love to do that. Um, Speaking of social media, you can find me at Jeremy Calloway Music on Facebook, J Calloway Music, Jeremy Calloway Music on Instagram. We have TikTok available, and then we also have a YouTube channel, Jeremy Calloway Music. So everything is going to be at Jeremy Calloway Music, whatever you're looking for. But we're on all the social media sites, and Facebook, of course, was early on. We've got a great following there, several thousand people. Instagram, it's the same. We're working on building up the TikTok. Our daughter's 11 years old, and I'll refer to it as TikTok. She's like, Dad, it's not TikTok, it's TikTok. I'm like, yeah, I know it's TikTok. But love for people to come follow us on TikTok and pick up videos. And of course, as you know, the video has been released on YouTube on our YouTube channel, and just excited to see what the future brings. Live appearances, the Nashville Palace. We're getting ready to perform down there, and we're going to put this out there. Thanks to Pam Miller and her band giving us the opportunity to do it down there. And we're actively booking shows at this time, and building the program and seeing where this thing goes. We have spent the last year or so really diving into creating music, recording. I had a record just came out last year called Feeling Good. And really, in that one, I tapped into a lot of the American Songbook, and so we've done a lot. That one just came out this past year. We're actively completing this record now. And of course, that's another thing that probably how things used to be. We don't do so much whole records at a time. We're doing singles at a time, but we're actively doing that. That's what we've been focused on. our focus now is turning toward live appearances, booking shows. And so I would love for folks to reach out to me. You can go to jeremycallowaymusic.com or jeremycalloway.com, either one. And you can read about my history there. You can tap into, if you want to send us a message, you can pop out a message. It'll come over to us, and they come straight to me. So I would love to be able to communicate with anyone that's interested in learning more about us and what we do. And I can't say enough about how much fun this is that my wife, Lena, and I are getting to take this journey together at this point in the career that I've been blessed with.
Yeah, that's
So,
great.
yeah, hop on social media and give us a visit.
Sounds perfect. Let's do that, guys. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. It's been fun getting to know a little bit more about you.
Hey, thank you so much. It's been an honor, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. And I hope I didn't ramble too much for you. I hope I was able to give you some information, and I look forward to seeing you again.
You were perfect.
Thank you, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Calloway. So, what do you think? Is She Ain't Crazy going to be your new favorite song? This has been Mark Gillia for AIM Country Music Television. Thank you for watching.
She can't waste no more time. And all the memories she was holding have all faded this time. And she ain't crazy 'cause she loves him. She's crazy 'cause she